Yesterday, I unboxed the Surface Pro 8, giving you my first impressions not just on the Surface, but the paired accessories as well. However, I had an absolutely terrible and frustrating day today trying to be productive, which led me to getting really frustrated with the Surface Pro 8 and ordering a Surface Laptop Studio. So before you kind of jump in those comments, I want to explain exactly why. So in my video yesterday, I mentioned that I could edit video on this, and it didn't get too hot or too warm. I handled it just fine editing the video you seen yesterday. However, I started to edit another video and it couldn't even handle one clip. It kept getting really hot. The fans were really kicking in gear. Not only that, Adobe Premiere Pro was crashing constantly, and I thought it was Windows 11, so I tried it on another PC that I have and had no issues. I didn't even see issues with similar specs on the Galaxy Book 360 that I have running Windows 11, and no issues whatsoever. Again, similar specs here. Here on this Surface Pro 8, it's the 11th gen i7, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and 256 gigabytes of storage, which this will run you $2,000 for this setup with the paired accessories that I also picked up. So overall, I'm really not impressed with the performance behind the Surface Pro 8. I was really frustrated. I couldn't even get multitasking done with Chrome or anything else really for that matter. So I picked up the Microsoft Surface Laptop Studio today, really hoping that this could probably keep up with my overall workload. And as far as the specs go, I did get an upgraded version with the i7, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 512 gigabytes of storage, and the NVIDIA 3050. So hopefully with that 3050 with the graphics there, it'll be much smoother using Adobe Premiere Pro, but we'll have to jump in and see how it does overall. Just really happy that I was able to quickly pick this up because that Surface Pro 8 was frustrating. Now, this Surface Laptop Studio is about $200 to $300 more depending on your pricing and availability than the Surface Pro 8 I had, but again, you're getting double the storage, the NVIDIA 3050 graphics, plus an overall dedicated fan system for better cooling. In the box, you're going to get similar accessories, except you're going to get a 120 watt charging brick instead of the 65 watt charging brick that you get with the Surface Pro 8 in the box, but the proprietary cable is going to be the same for charging, which I've enjoyed using. Packing the Surface Laptop Studio, there is an added weight to this over the Surface Pro 8. The Laptop Studio is just under 4 pounds, and you certainly feel the density here. However, it's not too heavy that I wouldn't throw this in a backpack when on the go. Quickly comparing it to the Surface Pro 8, you can see the vast differences in the sizes here and why I initially opted for the smaller device being the Surface Pro 8. It's pretty amazing seeing these compared in person. Two very different devices with many similarities. Ports, for instance, are the same, both providing two USB Type-C Thunderbolt ports. Lifting the lid, it's refreshing to feel how sturdy the hinge is. The keyboard layout and design is reminiscent of the MacBook Pro lineup from Apple. There's a much larger trackpad than on the Surface Pro 8. In fact, comparing the two trackpads and keyboards, they're quite different in size, with the Surface Laptop Studio being much larger with more workspace. Before I set this up, which I won't bore you with the process like I did in the Pro 8 video, I want to test out the different orientations. Adjusting this 120Hz touch display is very intuitive, and it doesn't feel floppy, wobbly, unstable, but rather really durable. It's quite impressive what Microsoft has done in terms of engineering here, similar to that of the Surface Duo hardware. I can already tell that this is going to be great for watching content, playing games, etc. All of these different orientations are pretty awesome, and I'm pretty excited to test all of these out in comparison to the Surface Pro 8, especially gaming. Speaking about that Surface Pro 8 again, I understand the Surface Pros aren't built for true productivity, and maybe I got my hopes up a bit upgrading to the 16GB of RAM i7 Surface Pro, but I was really hoping it could deliver on its Pro name here. Unfortunately, I want to stress it's not a full desktop replacement, whereas I'm hopeful this Surface Laptop Studio differs. Similar to the Surface Pro 8, the Surface Laptop Studio has plenty of updates out of the box, so the setup is going to take a bit, so when you're ready to set this up, make sure you have some time to sit and complete it. While this finishes its updates, I want to talk about the Slim Pen 2. With the Surface Laptop Studio, you do have to purchase the Slim Pen 2 separately, which for the price, I wish Microsoft would just include this. I really like the feel of the Slim Pen 2. The haptics are a bit gimmicky after all. It's essentially small vibrations in your hand trying to augment the feeling of writing on paper, but it's a solid upgrade to the previous pens, which the previous pens do work here. If you're curious, the Slim Pen 2 then tucks away here in front of the Surface Laptop Studio. Now, you do have to kind of guide it under there so that way you can ensure that it actually tucks underneath there, but if you lift it up, it's easier to just place it underneath. Now, out of the box, the Surface Laptop Studio is actually set to 120Hz versus 60Hz on the Surface Pro 8, but you can change and adjust that if you prefer. I'm really enjoying the many orientations this laptop offers. While not new since Acer and HP also offer similar devices, this is pretty awesome coming from Microsoft. I can't wait to try this paired with my larger monitor. And of course, with these variable orientations, it's great for watching content. Watching a bit of YouTube today, it not only looks really good, but it sounds incredible with that Dolby Atmos speaker setup. I am quite impressed how well the speakers sound, providing a very immersive experience overall. Consuming a lot of content will be great on this device. Going back to the Slim Pen 2, the features are the same here on the Surface Laptop Studio, but I did find having this larger canvas to create is an added bonus that I didn't quite think about until I wrote on here for the first time. Regardless if you get a Surface Pro or Laptop Studio, I highly recommend getting this pen. Should be awesome on the Surface Duo 2 as well. Subscribe for Surface Duo 2 content dropping in a few weeks. Now, editing on this in comparison to the Surface Pro 8, I found many differences in performance. I edited multiple videos today, throwing a lot of 4K and HDR content in Premiere to edit, and the experience was super smooth. Much better performer than the Surface Pro 8, unfortunately, and a much better fit for me. Initially, I removed this from my cart, picking that Surface Pro 8 up instead, but in the end, it seems this is a much smoother and better fit for me. I wanted to share this experience with you if you too are having that debate. I love the larger, bright 120Hz display, even though it's heavier in weight and it's pretty thick when closed or when the display is collapsed here as shown. Having the versatility of these displays will be excellent for creativity and productivity. A lot of laptops simply don't offer this experience, and while Microsoft, I think, should potentially lower their prices on these devices, I think that added experience Microsoft brings to the table is what you're truly paying for. The engineering here is, again, very impressive, and I'm curious to see how it holds up long term. As far as the Surface Pro 8, unfortunately, it did not end well for me. Even attempting to run a few tabs in Chrome again this afternoon, it came to a screeching halt. So again, from my initial impressions to now, I can't recommend the Surface Pro 8. If you're looking for something similar, get the Galaxy Book Pro 360 from Samsung for $500 less, which also includes the S Pen. Or if you need more productivity, then the Surface Laptop Studio may be for you as well. Thank you for watching, take care, and stay safe.